Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome. We've got a 2-week break, with all the city stuff, the international stuff, and now we're back to the more serious things. And on that note, we've also got new merch right here. Well, it's not merch, but it's actually gifted to me by two of our friends from our trivia competition. So thank you to Fahan and Margaret for gifting me this. Really appreciate it. And of course, if you want to place orders, we can talk about that. We'll put some, let me know in the comments what do you think, and then we can probably see if you want to do so much. But anyway, enough of the promotion stuff. We'll now get into the actual match preview, match day 4, and some very interesting subplots and storylines to talk about. But to join me today, we've got once again back on the show, Gaurav. Gaurav, welcome again. Yeah, you're now kind of like rivaling Nishikant into being like the regular on the show. So yeah, so 3 or 4 in a row.
I think we also deserve a merchandise, right?
Yes, yeah, I think so. Yeah, sure, yeah. I'll send you the order links here. You can order them. Yeah. Okay. But welcome Nishikant to this show as well. Once again,
Thanks
with
for having me again.
Yeah, and of course we've got Sagar as well to join. Sagar, welcome to the show.
Hey, Rohit. Hi.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So on that note, let's get into it. Let's get into the post-international break. Lots of things to talk about. You know what? Let's start with this one. Well, we've got to talk about Crystal Palace against Manchester City because that's the first game. But before that, Nishikant, FIFA banning like players who banning players or suspending players from playing, in the club competitions. Is that pettiness? Is that what do you make of it?
It is pettiness. It's a retaliation against what the Premier League club agreed, right? But I don't see a point in it because the Brazilian players, they still went to represent the national team, right? From most of the big clubs, at least. So I don't see a point in it. It's a petty retaliation from Brazilian FA, and it's certainly being targeted at some clubs more than others, right? So I don't see a point in it. I'm sure they're going to work something out, but it doesn't reflect well on the Brazilian FA, and also in conjunction with the fact what happened between Argentina and Brazil game this time around, right? It reflects very poorly on them, right? Because obviously every country, the situation is such that countries have different kind of rules for travel and the quarantine and everything. And you can't really term one rule unreasonable versus another, depending on what the situation is. You got to exercise extreme caution. So that's what's happening. And Premier League clubs were right at a certain extent. But I still see most of the players, at least from Chelsea, City, and other clubs, they went to represent their national team. So I don't really see what.
Did they? I don't think they did. I don't think the Brazilian.
No, most of them didn't go.
Yeah, the Brazilian players didn't go. That's why the FA kind of made.
I mean, Liverpool and City didn't release their players.
Yeah, Chelsea also didn't because Thiago Silva didn't go, right? Thiago Silva didn't go.
I was thinking that he just wasn't selected.
Yeah, no, he didn't go. Well, I mean, he might not have been selected because he already said he was not going to be available or whatever. But yeah. Chelsea, City, United. Well, I mean, Fred probably would not have been selected anyway, but he didn't go either. So
I thought that was the case because most of the players weren't selected. I thought that, but that really makes sense because, to be fair, it's the club football that pays the player. International games do not really pay much to a player. If you take example of England, the salary that they get, the match day wage, that goes to a charity, right? So it doesn't really pay their bills. So it's the club football that's most important in terms of, if you think of it like a job, and it is a job at the end of the day, right? So we can talk about all those patriotism and everything. Personally, for me, I'm not an international football, aficionado, right? I don't have any eggs in the basket there, right? I don't support anyone. So for me, it's players being available for Chelsea, right? So, I mean, the situation in Brazil is such that the English teams were not ready to let players go, but still they had a pretty decent squad. Like their main players, Neymar and stuff, Neymar and all, they were there, right? And so it doesn't make sense, and obviously this decision from Brazilian FA doesn't impact every club the same way either, right? So it's just
yeah.
it's just a retaliation from them. I hope the FA and Brazilian FA can, the English FA and Brazilian FA can work this out. But I think they should be very cognizant of the situation in hand right now due to the pandemic, and there should be some sort of relaxations and
What I
something
read
needs to be
somewhere
considered.
sometime back, I guess all the Premier League clubs have decided to,
Field the
revolt
players.
and
Yeah, that's the
and
report
field the
that's come out.
players.
That's the report that's come out that the Premier League clubs don't mind if the Brazilian players play as a rule, but we'll see. I mean, that's still I haven't read like an official report. I've read social media reports, so we're gonna assume that the Brazilian players cannot play.
But has FIFA really enforced this?
Yes.
Because it was
No,
Yes.
the way it works is basically that they are suspended for 5 days, that they cannot play any games for 5 days. That's the way
So
it works.
it was Brazilian FA asking FIFA to impose this rule, because
Yeah.
Brazilian FA obviously doesn't have any kind of
Jurisdiction. No,
locus
the Brazilian,
standi, right?
the way
Yeah.
the way it was, the Brazilian FA has lodged a complaint to FIFA, which is what they need to do, and then that has now carried over. So FIFA is basically suspended. But the thing is, what they've said is, if you lose, if you play a Brazilian player, you can forfeit a game 3-0. But if the Premier League clubs all agree, you know what, we're not going to make that complaint, then technically you can't do anything, because so what the reports right now are suggesting is that the Premier League clubs will not make a complaint, even if the Brazilian players play. But this is reports. We don't know if this is true or not, because I'm not seeing any news.
Yeah, it's just a country's FA trying to intervene in situation that they do not have a locus standi on, and it looks petty.
Yeah, I mean, there's FIFA also involved in this, because FIFA obviously
FIFA obviously has it, but I haven't heard anything. I mean, last I heard was Brazilian FA asking FIFA to impose this, but I never heard or read anywhere saying that FIFA has actually imposed this.
Yeah, no, I think it
I
has.
mean, I may be wrong, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think officially it has been imposed. I guess the bigger concern will probably be for the Champions League games, because that's when things do get dicey. But
I mean, for United fan, it's a boom, right?
I
From your
mean,
perspective, it's a
in some ways, yes. But
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to let's talk about the Premier League now. I think we've kind of talked about that. And what we'll do is, for the show, we'll assume that the Brazilian players are not playing. They probably will play, but we'll just assume, just for our sake, because it makes a little bit of interesting conversations. But anyway, let's start with Crystal Palace against Chelsea. That's Crystal Palace against Tottenham. That's the first game that's coming up. And I mean, Tottenham, who would have thought, 3 games, 3 wins, and 3 goals and 3 clean sheets. Like, it's like the power of 3, isn't it? Gaurav, you see them making 4 wins, 4 clean sheets, 4 goals. Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Kane is also getting back into form. He was really good in the international matches. So I don't see them losing it.
No, that's good. It's interesting though, because so Davinson Sanchez will not be available, and Christian Romero will not be available. And I think Sanchez has been key in this defensive run that they've had. So they're going to be down 2 central defenders. Sagar, is that going to be a problem? I mean, the thing with Palace is they don't score a lot of goals, but is that going to be a problem for them, like in terms of having to recheck that?
I don't think really it's not going to be much of a problem, because Romero anyways he wasn't I guess he didn't play the last match, right, or the one before that. So
yeah, no, it's Dyer and Sanchez were the first choice.
Yeah, so maybe probably instead of Sanchez they'll have some other player, but and it's Crystal Palace, so I don't think it should be much of a problem for them. They'll just score 1 and maybe sit back tight.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact that Sagar says another player, because we don't know who the 4th center half is.
Actually, I'm unable to recall.
Who could be that 4th? I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. They might play Skip does play as a center half sometimes, so they might switch him there.
But I think he's doing pretty well in the midfield, so I don't think they.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what the recheck is. There's probably a 4th center half somewhere around there, I'm sure. We just don't know the name because we don't bother too much with Spurs. But anyway, I think that's it is an interesting game. I think Palace have found a couple of points. They've got a couple of points here. They've not won a game yet, so this probably is not the game that they will want to win. But I think a loss might make things interesting in that relegation battle. It will be one to watch how long Palace will persist with Vieira, because he's a club legend, but not a club legend, but he is a footballing legend, and someone who may or may not we don't know what his managerial notes will be like. But I think the two big talking points are, of course, at the in the Canadian time 10 o'clock kickoff for fans in Asia, depending on where you live. 7:30 in India, somewhere it's about 10 o'clock means like 3 o'clock in London, in England at least. And we'll start with the first one. We'll start with Arsenal against Norwich. I think that is the game that a lot of people will have their eyes on. Nishikant, I mean, I put it, and this is the title of the show. It's ARTETA'S Endgame. Is it his endgame? Is it, if he loses? Do you think that it's time to pull the trigger?
It should be. I mean, I don't know if he loses and Arsenal do not sack him. I don't have an answer for what they are waiting for, right? I mean, you could understand the pre-international break scenario. They had most of their play, like Ben White was out. He played one game, but he was out for 2 games. Lacazette was out. What's his name? Aubameyang, he wasn't fully fit, and they had injuries concerns, and also they played like Man City and Chelsea, 2 really strong teams in that particular period. Still doesn't justify why they lost to Brentford. But tomorrow, I think, Norwich is, I think, last in the table, right? Or somewhere like, I mean, they haven't won any game either.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
I mean,
bottom on goal difference. Yeah, they're last.
Yeah,
Arsenal
bottom.
are at the last.
Yeah, so Norwich, I mean, might be second bottom then, because they also haven't won the game,
they did score a goal. Norwich have scored.
They have
difference
scored
is
a
same,
goal.
but
Yeah,
they
they
have
have
scored a
scored a
Yeah,
goal.
they scored 1
Yeah.
goal. That's why they're ahead. Wow. Arsenal bottom.
Yeah, well, they are better than Arsenal in that sense. But I don't really, see any reason for Arsenal not to win this game. Norwich are not really a team that should be troubling Arsenal that much. They're not Chelsea, they're not City, they're not Man United, they're not Aston Villa or West Ham either, right? So I would expect Arsenal to definitely win this one, and register their first win of the season. But if they don't win, I see no reason, absolutely no reason why Arteta should not be sacked. I don't know what they are waiting for if they don't sack Arteta. I mean, recently there were some interview coming out of Arteta as well as their sporting director Edu, and they were like, we request for patience, and this is a long-term thing, and all that. All that is fine, right? I mean, I appreciate that they're sticking with a manager and everything, right? But 4 losses out of 4, including losses against newly promoted Brentford and then Norwich, right? That really doesn't. I mean, that doesn't justify the argument about having patience, right? I mean, you can lose against City, you can lose against Chelsea, you can lose against United, and that makes sense because Arsenal are probably expected to lose against these anyway. But if they don't win against Norwich, I think most Arsenal fans should agree with me and probably would agree with me that they would like to see Arteta's back. And I have no reason to justify why he shouldn't be sacked either.
Yeah, I think that will be that 10 o'clock kickoff will be interesting.
But I do expect them to win though.
Yeah. That I think that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem there. I think Norwich are really a poor side. I think they'll go down, and Arsenal should be. I think it should be an easy win for them.
Yeah, I think on that note, though, Sagar, is this from an Arsenal fan's perspective, is it a good time to play Norwich or is it a bad time to play Norwich? Because I remember a few years ago when I think it was Mourinho's last season and we were playing Burnley and United, I think, lost the first 3 games. And I was like, if Burnley beat them, then he should get sacked. But they were playing Burnley and they beat Burnley and then he stayed for another 3-4 months because of that. I was like,
I think from Arteta's point of view, this is the best time to face Norwich.
Yeah, it's always a good time to face
even I exactly, and I'm sure they'll beat Norwich. Maybe, they can score a couple of goals as well. So it will be a good morale boosting for the team, and hopefully we can see more of Arteta in future.
Yeah, I think from an Arsenal fan's perspective, though, Gaurav, I mean, I know none of us are Arsenal fans here, but if an Arsenal fan, would you want him not necessarily to lose, because you don't want Arsenal to lose a game, but as a fan, but would you prefer them to play somebody else like a West Ham or or Spurs at this point, where it's kind of you test yourself against a big team and you still see if Arteta's got it, rather than playing Norwich and winning and then keeping his job for another couple of weeks?
I think this is the right time to play Norwich instead of West Ham, and West Ham or Leicester or teams like that. They're like really strong right now, and maybe just maybe the players can gain some confidence back, and maybe they can find their form. And if they played West Ham and lost against them, that most probably Arteta would have been gone, and they would be back to square one. We don't know how they will play the next games as well. So maybe this is the game where player can find their form and get some confidence back as well.
Yeah. And
I hope they win, man. I don't want Antonio Conte to be anywhere near Arsenal.
I don't think he's the kind of manager that Arsenal will go for.
I'm just going by the rumors, right? He's the one linked, and I really don't want a manager of his caliber to come to Arsenal, right?
Oh, that is true. Nobody wants that. Yeah, absolutely, nobody wants that. But we'll see.
And I, as a Chelsea fan, probably have more at stake here than most.
Yeah. In case you're all wondering why I'm not angelic with my face looking like a halo, it's just very, very bright where I am, and it's a very sunny day today. So, but anyway, we'll work with this, and eventually the sun will go away. We normally don't do these so early, so that's why we don't see it. But anyway,
for some reason, we are only seeing sun for hardly a couple of hours a day these days.
Well,
Gaurav, it's been raining in Bangalore incessantly.
Oh, I can understand. Well, this is just another month or so, and then we'll be in the gloomy fall winter days. Canada will become and then we'll all yearn for the sun. But anyway, for now we just enjoy it. Anyway, let's carry on. I think that's Arsenal. Gaurav, your score prediction for this one?
I think 3-1 Arsenal.
3-1 to Arsenal. Nishikant.
2-0 Arsenal.
Arsenal. Sagar.
Yeah, 2-0 for Arsenal.
Yeah, you know what? I've decided today that I'm going to be bold with my predictions, so I'm going 3-0 for Arsenal. That's what I'm going. I think they will keep a clean sheet and they will score 3 goals. I know both of those are a problem at the moment for Arsenal, but I think they will do that. And they've conceded 9 goals, right? So on average they've conceded 3 goals a game. So this will be one of those where they reverse it and make it 3. If you remember, there was that time when Chelsea were having 3 in their score line. They don't do that anymore, sadly. But anyway, all right. With that note, let's move on to the big one, the big game for the 10 o'clock. I think how many people will actually be watching the Arsenal game aside from Arsenal fans? Not many, because everybody will be watching the Man United Newcastle game. And not just Newcastle United fans, but that would be the game that people will be excited for, the return of Cristiano Ronaldo. There's a lot of things to talk about, Saga. There's a whole narrative around Cristiano Ronaldo and what he in Newcastle and all of that things. Again, we come back to the same point. I asked it 2 weeks ago, how difficult was it going to be to concentrate on that game? They kind of took Wolves a little bit lightly, I thought, at least in the first half, where they were just completely overrun. What needs to change in this one? Because that wasn't a good game. They won that game, wasn't a good game. So what needs to change from that one to this one?
Probably we didn't deserve to win the Wolves game.
No, not probably. We didn't deserve to win it.
Yeah, we actually didn't deserve to win that. We were lucky enough to just scrape through. But I think this one we'll be playing at home, and plus we'll be seeing the return of Ronaldo. So I think the team spirit would be very high, and I don't think much changes, or tactically, I don't think too many things need to be fixed up. But let's see. All I'm looking for now is who do you play instead of Fred? I'm very excited to see Van de Beek, but I'm not sure whether he'll be there or not.
I read somewhere that United have made more tweets about signing Ronaldo than Van de Beek has appearance for United.
I mean, I think that might be true because they have announced him 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. Yeah, they've announced it multiple times.
It makes sense, right? I mean, you have signed probably the number 2 footballer in the world, right?
Wow.
No,
number 1.
I don't
arguably.
I don't agree.
Arguably. Yeah. I get that. And if you say number 1 or number 2 for probably they have their own number at level, and number 1 and number 2.
Yeah, I think let's not get into that.
Yeah, of course.
So,
of course,
but
of course.
I think why wouldn't you? you have signed a man who is the greatest one of the greatest goal scorers this game has ever seen, right? So I wouldn't blame United for trying to milk that cow, right? So as much as possible. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I've been seeing like he's home for a while
Yeah,
now. I
yeah.
mean, sometimes I feel like I have Alzheimer's, or am I missing something? Did they announce him before? Or is it the first time?
Yeah,
No, that's
it went a bit too, it had happened. We have seen too much of him now. So
Hmm.
probably tomorrow, once we
I
face
hope he starts.
Newcastle,
I'm just
I
waiting.
think he
Like
will.
I'm really, I've
I'm
crossed
not
my
sure
fingers,
whether.
and I'm waiting that he starts tomorrow, because that's the whole reason I'm
I
looking
think he
forward
will.
to the Man
Yeah,
United game, right?
yeah, I do expect him to start because he did play for Portugal.
Is he like that quarantine thing is
No,
over
yeah,
for
that's all
him?
done because he came
Yeah,
back
yeah,
with
That's
it's
good
all
confidence.
news.
done.
Okay.
So he's all
He has
all
trained
good.
as well
Yeah, then
since
I
last
think
couple of days.
there is no reason for Ole not to start him.
Yeah,
He
yeah, I
should
think he'll start.
start. Like, it
But let's
doesn't
talk
matter
about
if
the
you've bought
Yeah,
anyone else or something. He
yeah,
needs
but
to start.
the composition. I think the composition of the side will be interesting, Gaurav, because if you've got Ronaldo playing as a striker now, the question is who do you play around him? So let's look at because there's 5 positions, I guess, behind him that we're going to look at, and I guess Sagar talked about Donny maybe starting. So, in your opinion, if you got the 5 positions behind him, who plays in those?
I think in current form, Greenwood has to start on the right wing, and
Mhm.
Pogba has done really well playing on the left, so maybe he will continue there, or maybe they will try Sancho on the left. He hasn't really looked good since
Yeah.
in the last 2 games or so. So maybe try playing him there alongside Ronaldo, because
Mhm.
everyone knows Ronaldo will occupy the centre backs most of the time, so he will get that space as well to run behind the defenders. And I personally, I think it will be Sancho on the left, Ronaldo up front, and Greenwood on the right,
Mhm.
and Fernandes and Pogba behind him.
Okay, and so who do you
And
play in that other midfield role? Because that is the key question, isn't it? Who
yeah,
plays there?
ideally it would have been Fred if he was fit. I know United fans don't want him to start, but
Yeah,
maybe Matic if he's fit.
yeah, yeah. I
No
guess
Van de Beek
yeah. I
for
guess
you?
the
I would
midfield
like to see
combination.
Van de, what's his name? Van de Beek.
Yeah, Van de Beek.
Yeah, Van de
Yeah,
Beek.
no, but see
Yeah,
if
He's
because
not ideally a DM. Van de
yeah,
Beek.
yeah.
No,
See, if Pogba is playing, then you can't play Van de Beek next to him because
yeah.
that is just suicide.
but
Even if it's
Pogba plays
Newcastle.
on the okay, yeah, in that sense.
If he's going to play in center midfield. Now the question is, does Oli go with Sancho at the left, or does he go with Pogba on the left, and then he can bring in Van de Beek? But if he goes with Pogba in the middle, and to
I think he
Gaurav's
should go
point,
with Sancho on the right. And is Rashford fit yet?
no, he's not going to be fit
No,
until
No,
not
not
yet.
yet.
October, November. But
Okay,
Greenwood is the other
then
option. Greenwood has to play on the
yeah.
right because
Yeah, Greenwood. Yeah, then Sancho on the. But Ronaldo has to start as a striker. I don't think he. I mean, now with his age, winger position probably
yeah,
doesn't really
no, he
suit
won't be
him
playing
that
as a
much.
winger. He'll be playing as a striker
So
pretty much
yeah,
too.
he should
No.
be the striker.
Yeah. So the only
And
question is, yeah, Sagar, look like
yeah,
you.
I'm slightly doubtful. Going by what Ule said, he hasn't specifically mentioned that Ronaldo would start. Yes, he will play some role tomorrow. So
Mhm.
I think he might not start. He'll come in the second half, and I think
Okay.
Cavani would start. But let's see. I mean,
Will
this is
Cavani
just by
Can Cavani
yeah,
did Cavani
Cavani is
not go
by.
to Uruguay? He didn't go to Uruguay because if he's gone to Uruguay, he can't play for sure because he'll be in quarantine.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if he
He'll
has
be in
gone,
the
I don't know if
quarantine
he went to
period, but
Uruguay.
I'm not sure whether he went or not.
Yeah,
So
I'm not either.
maybe or else Greenwood could start. But
Mhm.
I'm hoping Ronaldo should start. But
Yeah,
going through
I
Ole's talk today, so I'm not
I would say
very
start
sure.
Greenwood anyway, because that lad is really doing.
Greenwood
yeah.
is going to
Greenwood.
start
Yeah,
certainly,
Yeah,
but
and
let's see on the wings or
yeah.
maybe
yeah. Greenwood will
striker.
start. The only question is where he starts with the right or striker. But I guess yeah. I guess the point is if you're going to play Sancho, I think he will start Sancho because when you pay that much amount of money, if he's fit, he has to start even if he hasn't played that well, and he hasn't played well. But I think he will start on the left. And then you got to find a place for Pogba, so you got to play Pogba, and because you play Pogba, you can't play Donny. So Donny will probably have to be happy with the bench role again. But hopefully this time we'll see him actually come on in a game because that's something that will still be a step up from what he's had to do so
Yeah.
far. But
I think he released a statement. Right? I read some interview that he had some word with Ole and the
Yeah.
manager promised him that he's
He
in
has
his
been assured
plans and
of
that
playing time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he will get that. I just wonder what kind of games he's going to play and how many games he's going to play. But I mean, there's always games to go on, and you never know with injuries and things like that. And Pogba doesn't usually stay fit for a full season, so there's always opportunity.
I'm not even sure Pogba would start tomorrow, because in the last 7 or 8 days he has played like 3 full games.
Yeah.
So
he should be able to
let's see.
start. He's still young. Like three
Yeah,
games.
but we again have a game on Tuesday, right? So
Yeah, I think the Tuesday one he might
Who-
be rested for. Anyway, I
Who
think
are
the
who are
young
the
boys
guys
game.
you're playing on
Young
Tuesday?
boys.
young boys.
Yeah.
Young boys.
You don't need to say Pogba.
Yeah,
for
okay,
them.
okay, yeah. I know. Istanbul, right? That's one word I have for you, Istanbul. Anyway, we're kind of getting sidetracked here. Final question, I think, Gaurav. Actually, you know what else needs to come this one, because there is one more team. There's Newcastle, and I do want to touch just on Newcastle. Another one of those teams that look like they're going to be in that relegation dogfight. It seems like we say that every year about Newcastle. They're going to be in that relegation dogfight. And what's the mindset got to be like for them when they go into this one? Because everything is going to be sort of. The crowd is going to be against them. They've got a big inspiring signing on the other side of the field. How do they approach this game?
Yeah, I don't think Newcastle at all will be thinking about getting 3 points out of this. So, the most optimistic result for them is a draw, which is what they would probably even attempt to play for.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're not a good team. No disrespect to Newcastle fans or anything, but that's what we have seen in last few seasons, right? And I agree with you. They will be in the relegation dogfight. That's where they are going to be. I don't really see them posing much of a challenge to United, right? So it should be a United.
Where's the mute
win.
button when you need it?
Yeah.
I know.
No, so I'm not going to use that phrase, which
Yeah, no, you're
which I
coming
have
up with
been
new phrases. I mean,
so
that's
much
just
vilified.
like I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so
I would refrain.
yeah, Nishikant, what's your score prediction at this point? Like, yeah, let's just get this.
3-0 United.
3-0. Wow. Okay. Gaurav?
3-0.
3-0. Sagar?
I think 2-1.
2-1 to Manchester
United. Yeah.
United.
United.
Yeah, I said I'm going to be bold, and I think I'm going to go because see the thing is everything seems to be working against Newcastle. There's a big inspiring signing. The crowd is going to be up for it. They've got a wonderful. The team is going to be sort of they had a break and they're coming back. I think it's going to be 2-2. That's what I'm going to go with the big one because I just feel it just reminds me, of the time when we signed Robin van Persie. If you remember when we signed Robin van Persie and there was this whole optimism and then they played Everton and they lost that game. So it just reminds, I think that was this comparisons. I just feel like, this game is set up for United to, just like against Wolves where we all thought they would beat Wolves and then they almost lost that one. It just feels like this game is set up for United to kind of bottle it. So, but we'll see, especially with the midfield issues. I don't know. So I'm going with a 2-2. But we'll see. Maybe United might be able to pull out a win. Either way, we know United will win. Well, one of the United teams will be happier because United are playing United. So the joke there. So United will do well. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. All right. On that note, let's go to the final game for that one. Chelsea for Saturday. We've got Chelsea playing in the final one, and they're playing at Aston Villa. I think that's a game that in the past would have looked like as a mundane, top team against mid-table team. But now it's different. This is it's Aston Villa a little bit doing well. Not exactly. I don't think they've done as well as they should.
Last
I think
season,
the start, but they have a good team. Nishikant, let's talk about Chelsea though. Let's start with that because there's a lot of talk about how well they played against Liverpool. You were not here for us for the review for that Liverpool game. They really played well in that one. It's sort of things are like sort of coming together for Chelsea. Do you think Chelsea are title favorites this season?
After the Liverpool game, I do. The character and the determination, the grit that we showed in that game, right? That was as good as winning a Champions League final. I mean, going a man down, losing N'Golo Kante against a full crowd Anfield, it would have been game over for most of the teams in Europe, right? And the character we showed, I don't know what Tuchel said in the interval, because Chelsea players seem to have been losing their minds when it was flaring up and it felt like the heads were not in the right place. But obviously Tuchel calmed them down, and the performance our defense did, and we actually managed to create some chances on the counter attack, right? Which wasn't even a priority at that time. We wanted to earn that point, and earn that point we did. So I'm with that game really gives me a performance that, because before the season, for me, the success criteria would have been a trophy, which we won in Super Cup, and probably maybe another domestic competition, and challenge for the title, right?
Super
But
Cup
I
is not
think
really a trophy. Come on. I mean,
it
Club
still
World Cup
gives you
is a
$5 million
trophy. Super
for
Cup is
winning
not a
it.
trophy.
£5 million for winning it. Sorry, euros.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So,
but it's not like it's not a real
yeah,
trophy.
I
It's
get
a
that.
trophy,
I
but
get
not
that.
a real trophy.
That's why I said one more domestic cup trophy.
Yeah. No,
So
Club World Cup, I
so
can understand. Club World Cup is a trophy.
Club World Cup or
Yeah, but
an
not-
FA Cup or a League Cup probably. So my success criteria had been a domestic trophy. I was not counting Super Cup anyway. So, but it's icing on the cake, really. So a club trophy and challenging Manchester City for the title, at least until game week 35 or 34, right? But I think this team has it in them to win the title, and I am optimistic about my chances, about our chances of winning this title. After the Liverpool game, especially, I don't, Aston Villa are a good team. Compared to last season, probably there's a slight dip, but it's still too early to say, in my opinion. It's just been 3 games. They have made some really good signing. Obviously, they have lost Jack Grealish, and there are certain players that are really hard to replace. He's one of those. So that's gonna show. That's gonna show somewhere in the season. But I see no reason why Chelsea should not be winning this game, right? So I would expect Chelsea to win this game 2-0.
Well, I'm not doing score
I'm
predictions just yet, but
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just
for
saying
letting
that.
us know.
Yeah. But the advantage is that Romelu Lukaku is not injured, right? I mean, we read some news about his some injury in his thigh, and him undergoing a scan or things like that. But he participated in the training, and Tuchel confirmed just like a few hours ago in the press conference that he had been training with us. There is no problem for any kind of injury. The only injury problems we have is Christian Pulisic and N'Golo Kante, and I don't see that. I mean, I don't think Pulisic, even if he had been fit, he was going to start. I don't think that would have been the case anyway. So we are not losing anything over there. I mean, we are losing. He's a really good player, but we are not losing much in the sense that we really have good backups for them. So I really think that Chelsea should be winning it. I see no reason why we do not win this game, and why we should be conceding a goal against an Aston Villa side, right? So I would expect a clean sheet and a win.
Yes, I mean, the only way to score against Chelsea is maybe putting them down to 10 men. But I mean, Christian Pulisic is a bit of a forgotten man at this point with everything else that's
He
happened.
is.
Yeah, he is. But Gaurav, let's talk about Aston Villa for a second, because I mean, they're a team that we have some hopes for, not necessarily Champions League, but I think we do expect them maybe to push for Europe. Would you start two? Would you start Watkins and Ings together, or do you think do you see them two starting together? Do you think they should be starting together, or do you think that it should be like a 4-3-3? Or maybe a 3 with Watkins playing out on the wing or something?
Well, ideally, they're playing Chelsea, so I don't see them, playing to. I'm expecting.
Okay, yeah, fine. No, just hold
Audible
on.
now.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I don't see both Watkins and Ings starting for this game, because playing Chelsea title contenders. Maybe he'll start on the wings to accommodate him. Maybe play there. But ideally, I think you need to control them when you're playing Chelsea. Back that midfield, up on striker,
Yeah, they are
But I
not
think
going to
they
do
have
that.
good players. So I think Chelsea is going to win, but maybe they could get the point. Aston Villa, they have some really good players. They have definitely sold Grealish, probably one of the best players in the league, but they have replaced him. With Wendia and Ings is there as well. So
Yeah. Well, we know someone who really likes Emilio Buendia, a real big fan of him, unfortunately. But anyway, if you know, you know. All right, Sagar. I guess the final question on this one, because Nishikant really covered the whole thing. He's just pretty much given us a whole monologue on why Chelsea should win this. So it's not a lot to discuss. But I mean, the one area will be Reece James' suspension. That he will not be available, obviously, for this one. Who do you see starting? How do you see the rechecking happening in play with him out?
I think on the right wing, probably who they have as a backup.
Yeah, so it'll be
Aspi could
probably
play there.
Aspi.
Yeah, so I think
I guess, or they might go with Callum Hudson-Odoi because they
that's what I want to see.
I think they'll go with Aspi. And in the central defense, maybe they usually play 3-5-2.
Yeah.
So I think there probably even Thiago Silva is not available, right? If
he is available.
Yeah, he probably won't. He probably wouldn't have featured anyway.
Yeah, well, he's technically not available because he's been we don't know.
He got a call up, right, from Brazil. So,
he's one of those suspended players.
He didn't go, but like Tuchel said in the interview, he's not officially out yet because Chelsea chairman is still discussing and negotiating with Brazilian FA. But I wasn't expecting Thiago Silva to play anyway, right? So I think Tuchel will start as Piliqueta on the right wing back, but I would like to see Callum on the right wing back or left wing back, and our defensive player on the whichever side Callum starts is the opposite side, put a defensive one.
Yeah, so then your back three would be Christensen, Rudiger, and
so back three is Christensen, Rudiger, and Trevor Chalobah, right? Then on the right, if you start Callum on the right wing back, then you can put Azpilicueta instead of Trevor Chalobah in the right centre back position, and left wing back should be Ben Chilwell because he hasn't played. He didn't go to international break, so he'll have fresh legs. Or do this, that put Callum Hudson-Odoi on the left wing back and have Aspi on the right wing back to make sure that one of the wing back plays has a defensive minded player.
Do you see Alonso not starting this game?
This is a game we could rest him. It's Aston Villa. Right? They may be good, but they're not Chelsea good.
This is going to come bite you.
Well,
I guess I can fall back, but I'm confident. I don't see Aston Villa doing
this is
again.
this is the new this is the 2021-22 Nishikant. He's not the pessimistic one of last year. This year's one is like all optimistic, like Chelsea at the top.
He's got all the reasons. He's got all the reasons to be optimistic.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like in the last year was like everything was like pessimistic, but this year everything was optimistic. So anyway, Gaurav, your score prediction for this one.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I think 1-1 draw.
Yeah, 1-1 draw. Okay, yeah. Why not? Yeah, well, we don't. Nobody gets paid. Right? So why not? Yeah. Nishikant, what's your prediction? Oh no, you already said 2-0. So you already got that.
2-0.
Sagar, what's yours?
I'll go with 2-1 for Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea. You know what?
Yeah.
I'll go bold like Gaurav, but in the other direction, I'll say it's going to be 3-0 to Chelsea. Like they're gonna hammer Aston Villa. That's what it'll be hammering. So I think it will be because I just feel like Chelsea are clicking in a way that other teams are not, and I just feel like that's gonna help them, and they're gonna pull this off. I could go even bolder and say Werner will score a goal, but I won't go that much. I think we'll leave that way too much. So
he scored a goal last week, right?
He has been in a good form in international break. But then he missed an open goal as well.
Yeah, he's been missing chances. Yeah, I don't even know.
I think I would really like to see him, with who's that guy? Lukaku. Because I think that suits Werner, right? Playing alongside a guy, a main man, right? I don't think Werner is the guy you can shoulder all the responsibility for scoring goals, right? That's what has been happening in Germany. I don't think he's a good finisher, man. I really like the guy. His work rate is incredible. His attitude is incredible. He says that he's very honest, and I really love that guy. But he's not that finisher you could count on. So, but I think in partnership with Romelu Lukaku, he could really thrive.
Well, I mean, some players can finish and some other players have other
Hmm.
attributes. But anyway, it's actually my mistake. I actually thought the other two games were happening on Sunday, but there is one more game on Saturday that's happening at 10 o'clock.
Leicester and Man City.
Leicester City and
Leicester.
Manchester City. That's actually a big
The
game.
big
It's actually
game.
probably
Big game.
Yeah,
bigger
Yeah.
game than any of the others because this is
actually.
one of those very interesting ties which could go either way. So this finished, I believe, Leicester playing at home, and yeah,
Yeah.
this one was 5-2 last year. One of those shock results. On a crazy weekend that happened. But I mean, Gaurav, let's start with Manchester City. Now I put Scott Carson in my thumbnail thing. Probably the only time I'll ever put him because there is a chance that he might start if Ederson is not able to start. We don't know. How confident would you be? I mean, it is Leicester City, but how confident are you if Scott Carson has to start? How confident are you in that defense?
But to be honest, I haven't seen him play ever, so I don't really know how good he is. He
How
played.
young are you? Like, how young are you? You've never seen him play? Oh my God! Like,
No.
well, I still remember him playing in the 2010 World Cup. I believe was he? Yeah, did he? I think he played in the 20. No, did he play in the 2010 World Cup? Was it him? I think it was him, wasn't it? That he played against Algeria or some USA, and he conceded a goal, like a pretty silly goal, and I think it was him. But yeah, he's been around a long time.
He played a friendly. He played a friendly this season and saved a penalty as well in that game.
Oh,
So
okay.
you never know. But
Yeah.
to be honest, not really confident with him. Cause our whole game is based, from starting from the back, from the goalkeeper mainly, what Anderson does. So have that technique or anything. So we will struggle on that front if Anderson doesn't play. So not really confident in Carson.
Mhm.
Maybe you could see a youth goalkeeper starting as well. Maybe.
Yeah, that could happen as well. Yeah, that might be a goalkeeper, but yeah, might be a interesting. I think it was a Norwich or a not a Brentford, but if it was a Norwich or a, I guess one of those smaller teams, which are the ones like a Brighton, maybe you might be okay with starting a young goalkeeper. But I think against a team like Leicester, you may want that experience over a young goalkeeper. But you never know. That's interesting. Gaurav, would you start? I mean, so here's the interesting dilemma now is of course between Laporte. We keep coming back to this, Laporte, Stones, and Diaz. That's the one. Stones obviously played for England over the week, so he's now almost certainly back to match fitness. Do you keep faith with Laporte and Diaz, or do you bring in Stones and take one out?
Well, on current form, Laporte definitely has to start. Personally, if I would have to say, then one thing that I like about Stones is that he's someone who you expect to put his body on the line if needed. And Laporte is very good. His technically is very good. His positioning is very good as well. But I think he lacks that aspect to a certain extent.
Stones has got
So
stones, whereas Laporte doesn't have enough stones. Is that?
yeah. Pep said, yes, his balls are bigger than anyone else in a press conference, talking about Stones. But on current form, Laporte has to start. He has been really good.
I think that will be one to keep an eye on. Nishikant, I know I'm going to ask you this question because I know you are actually a bit of a fan of the guy Kaglar Soyuncu for Leicester City. Someone he's been a mainstay of the Leicester defense. I think he's had a little bit of a rough patch this year. This in the first few games. He got sent off for Turkey as well, and he's not been that good in the last few games. Is there something wrong with him? Do you think it's just getting up to speed? The fact that he doesn't have his regular defensive partner. What do you think is going wrong with him?
I don't know. Maybe it's second season syndrome.
Oh, this is third season. That's not really second.
Oh, okay.
It's been around for a while.
My bad. Yeah. So,
Third season syndrome.
I thought last season was his best. I was thinking last season the best.
Well, yeah, he did grow his hair up last season, so yeah.
Yeah, because last season was when he actually came into my notice, and I was like, wow, this guy is really a good defender. He was probably a contender for team of the season last year, right? But yeah, I don't really know. I mean, maybe he's just getting into, it's still too early and he's just getting into the grooves and, trying to find his feet and just stabilize things there. So I think it just might be that, because what I saw last season, right, this guy is based on last season, is really quality defender. Right. I wouldn't read too much into the red card. Anyone can get red card. Reece James got a red card for basically doing nothing the last time he had a game.
And Gaurav just got like, oh my God, here we go again. But okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I
Nishikant, the
didn't
world
really
does
watch
not
that
revolve around
international
Chelsea,
game,
but
right?
okay.
I'm not too big about international games, so I haven't seen it, so I don't know why he got the red card. But I wouldn't read too much into that. Sometimes people get red cards. That doesn't really mean that they were playing bad. It's just that all it takes is a moment to get a card, right? So that's just what it is. But I think, and for Leicester to actually do well, he needs to play well, right? Because he was commanding their back line last season. So he's a really good defender. I think it's just the early stages of just finding his feet and getting back into the groove of things. So it's just that. Coming to tomorrow's game, I think City will have a bit between their teeth because they lost to Leicester in a Community Shield, right? Granted, it's just a glorified friendly, but
Hold on. Super Cup is a trophy, but Community Shield is a glorified friendly. Just remember.
I would agree that Super Cup is also a glorified friendly, but it's bigger than Community Shield because there is actually a prize money for Super Cup. You get 5 million euros for winning Super Cup, right? So that's the only
fan. I'm just talking about money there.
It's all about that's money. The only all money, right? That's
no. I get that. I get you, but I think that the thing is Leicester really need him to be good in defense.
They need him to be good because their attack seems to be coming out well, right? Vardy is back again in form. I mean, not that he'll ever lost his form, but every season, will that player hit the same heights again? And I think you can safely say that Vardy will hit the heights every season on season. So no problem there. Vardy is doing well. And if Vardy does well, their attack does well. So no problem. Nacho again, he's been doing well. I don't see a problem there. But yeah, I think their defense will be able to sort themselves out as well. So and that should be a good game.
Yeah, because Leicester are losing defenders pretty as fast as Liverpool were losing them last year. So I think the curse has been passed over. But
is Fofana back?
No, he's going to be out for a long time. I think will be out for long.
Yeah, Fofana will be out for a long time.
Horrible challenge.
Yeah, I think they've also lost Pereira, if I'm not mistaken. Ricardo Pereira is also out. They've lost another player as well for a while. So I think it's Ricardo Pereira, I think. But I know that was somebody that lost. So maybe Castani, I'm not sure. But they've lost someone. They're losing defenders. But Sagar, talking about City, another player who caught the eye, Ferran Torres. I said, he's playing now striker for Spain as well. I don't think the City need a striker, they can groom him because I think he is someone who's got the natural attributes about being a striker. I keep saying this every week like a broken record, but it seems like he's proving me right every week with the base thing. Has he surprised you in the fact that he's taken to being a striker so quickly? Or
yeah, actually, I was a bit surprised initially, but the way he's been playing recently. And last season maybe he was a bit overshadowed because of Aguero's presence, although Aguero didn't play much. But still, this season he's coming of age really, and he's in a very good. He's playing in a very good position. So now I'm really looking forward to him playing. He's one player who has really surprised me initially, but now I have. A very high scoring hopes from him by the end of the season. And he'll be very instrumental for City. I believe.
He reminds me a little bit of David Villa.
I was gonna say that. I was just gonna say that. Like he reminds me of David Villa a little bit, and that Villa could play on the wing. Although,
mainly a winger, but knows where the goal is. No,
I think Villa was.
But then Pep Guardiola could probably make Carlos Puyol score 20 goals this season. I mean, he is.
Villa mainly played on the left wing, if I'm right.
No, Villa was a striker who could play on the left. I guess Ferran is a winger who can play as a striker at the moment. At least I think eventually he'll become a striker who can play on the left. Villa used to play left when they needed to accommodate Torres in a front three because they would not play two anymore. And he played on the left for Barcelona because they already had Messi in the middle. But usually for Valencia, and
He
initially
was a
he
striker
was a
for
striker,
Leeds.
and I think even for
Yeah.
Atletico he used to be
Even for Atletico, yeah.
yeah, but Atletico's that 4-4-2 was essentially that the striker would become a left winger. So Villa would be the one who would go on in defense, would become a 4-3-3. So that's how they used to play. So nominally
Thing
a
with
striker.
Pep's team is right that the front three exchange places a lot, right? So it's not really that if you start as a winger, that's what you are, and you need to stay wide, maintain width, and everything like that,
True.
right? So
Yeah.
Pep's team is very fluid.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's why his wingers score a lot of goals.
Yeah, the wingers score a lot of goals. The strikers don't score. Obviously, centre backs become strikers when they need to, and Pep Guardiola's team, everybody becomes.
And he made Gundogan score so many goals.
Yes,
I
I know
he
that.
scored
Yes,
that
yes.
many goals in his
He
entire
was our
career.
highest goal scorer last season.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a weird one, Jorginho being the highest goal scorer for Chelsea, Gundogan being the highest goal scorer for City. I mean, I think people just want to forget about last season. But anyway, score predictions, Gaurav. What do you think?
Well, it depends. If Ederson and Jesus play, then I think it will be 3-1. I'm pretty confident of a win. If they don't, then 2-1.
2-1 to Leicester, right?
To City.
To City. So it's still a win. This is what the level. Okay. Confident or not? Okay. Nishikant, what's your prediction?
3-1 to Leicester.
3-1 to Leicester.
Oh, sorry. 3-1 to City.
I was gonna say that's a bold prediction. Like I thought it was like I just
too many
thought
drinks, I think.
Yeah, no, I thought Nishikant. No. I think Nishikant was like trying to take revenge because you had Villa drawing. So like, well, I'm going to make the opposite prediction.
No, it'll be City win, 3-1 to City. Like I said, they've got a bit between the teeth, right? So they would like to take that revenge, and they would.
Yeah, but 3-1 to Manchester City, not Leicester City.
Yeah.
For anybody who might be pedantic about it. Sagar, what's your prediction?
I think it will be 3-0 to City.
I see you're 3-0. I'm going to raise you one more. I'm going to say 4-0 to Manchester City because
could be
because I just feel that our defense is not stable at the moment for Leicester. I think they're having some issues there, and I'm not sure about the goal scoring. But yes, if Ederson is not able to play, maybe Leicester might get a goal or two. That's possible because of that shuffle at the back. But I still feel Leicester's defense is not very solid at the moment, and that might be a problem. But stranger things happen. We don't know what the final score will be. And I think on that note, we'll go to the final game. We're sort of coming to the end of this one. So last one that we're going to talk about today, Liverpool's big game on Sunday. The only big team playing on Sunday. In fact, the only game on Sunday, actually. Even that's a weird scheduling quirk, isn't it? That you have the Liverpool playing on Sunday. Surely Manchester City Leicester could have been pushed to Sunday as well. But anyway, Liverpool against Leeds, one of the most entertaining games of last season that we saw. It was a nice little, the two teams that are very attacking, very open, and it's a nice matchup. But Gaurav, something's missing from Leeds this season. Something is not clicking. There's something. I don't know if it's a second season syndrome. Is it the fact that they don't have the players? But something's not quite. I don't know, what do you call it? Something's not in sync.
I think they were performed last season, but went up them, and how Bielsa plays. We all know like Saul running most of the time, have to track back. So maybe that had an effect as well. There are with season. Yeah. Maybe we'll get to see them at their best after a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have made any really big signing this season, have they?
Well, they just spent 24 million pounds on Dan James. I mean, I don't know that is a big signing.
Yeah, but
at least for them, it's a big signing.
Yeah, it's a big signing in terms of value. I don't know if it's a big signing. Dan James. I mean, Leicester have been having trouble scoring goals. So what do? You had a player like Dan James who doesn't score goals. So I don't know. I think we'll see how Dan James does. But I wonder, Gaurav, that's the thing what you say. We know how Bielsa plays. Is that a problem as well? That people have now figured out how Bielsa plays, and so it's easy to counter. Because I think the one of the things about playing a style is it's good and it works, but then eventually it becomes predictable, and he hasn't been able to evolve. Whether maybe he's stubborn to evolve. He's stubborn. So is that a problem as well? And he needs to think about a different way of playing.
Well, I actually read some reports last season as well about Bielsa that he's not very flexible when it comes to changing his philosophy and trying different things out. So maybe that had an effect.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how they're going to play, so maybe he needs to change something.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there's something definitely needs to change if they are to avoid getting sucked into a relegation fight. I think the goal probably might be mid-table at this point. I don't think they want to get sucked into that. So that makes sense. Then Nishikant, we had this debate: were Liverpool lucky to get a point? Were they unlucky to get a point? And should have got 3 points. We didn't get your opinion on the game for sure. But again, same with lack of cutting edge up front. Though that second half, sure, Liverpool have that issue goal scoring as well. It's a problem. I mean, obviously, Firmino will probably not start. We don't know what the situation will be. He probably will not start. So you're going to look at Jota starting. But with Firmino missing, that midfield they're gonna need to find a way to sort of balance out the defensive side. But then they need something as well to help those goal scorers, because that is an issue.
Yeah. I think if they want to help their goal scorers, the obvious choice is Thiago, because he has that kind of passing range. But then that obviously compromises the defensive side of things, right? So they don't really have a balance, like you said, with Fabinho playing in the midfield, right? They could play Jordan Henderson, but again, he's not a very technical kind of guy, right? He's more a runner and kind of a tough tackler and gives everything on his pitch, on the pitch, like typical Englishman, but not really a very, very, very technical kind of guy, right? But I don't really expect the way Leeds play, right? Well, Chelsea have a very, very, very good defensive setup, right? With the 3 defenders at the back, and if you include the wing backs when they come back, five at the back, and then the 2 holding midfielders. That's not really the case with Leeds, right? They go gung ho about their playing football, and it looks really good, like when it works out. But that I think that is what probably will help Liverpool, in the sense that they would have more room to attack. They won't really have a defender like Antonio Rudiger not letting Salah get any kind of one-on-one past him, right? So I think that would be helpful for Liverpool. So I don't really see that. And I agree with you that Leeds are missing that something which I can't quite put a finger on it just yet, right? I don't know if it's just like second season syndrome. I don't think it, or maybe that Bielsa has been found out. I don't know what it is, but the way Leeds play, I don't really think they'll be in a low block. So I don't really expect any problems for Salah and Mane and Jota or whoever plays. These guys to have any kind of problem scoring. I think they will score tomorrow, and it should be a comfortable win for Liverpool. Unlike, I would like to see a game like last season, the last season opener, which I don't know, what was it, 4-5 or
4-3? It was 4-3.
4-3.
Yeah, and we might get that. We might get that.
We might get that. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, Nishikant, and I had a question, but after this one, but I think we should just have a 1-hour show where Nishikant just shows up to these kind of, with a couple of drinks in the system, because the way he just goes hammers every club, like pot shots to every club. And normally he's a little bit reserved, but today he's just going pot shots at every club that has been taken a pot shot. Like we just seen a 1 hour.
No, I mean, I don't really.
I was supposed to say this post the show. Yeah.
I don't really intend to take a pot shot at any club, right? I definitely didn't take a shot at Liverpool. If anything, I'm kind of.
No, the shot that you took at Henderson, like a typical big English player.
I mean, Henderson is Henderson,
Yeah, but on that note, though, I mean, and I know this is something that is a Liverpool problem, is the fact that they don't get a lot of goals from their midfield. I mean, they get assists in their fullbacks. If that front 3 doesn't score, and it may not be a problem against these, but if that front 3 doesn't score, they don't get a lot of goals from that.
They don't get a lot of goals, right? Yeah. And also, if Salah gets injured, they also do not have a backup. If Mane gets injured, they do not have a backup. So that's one of the things. But really, Klopp really gets them playing. The way Klopp plays, it's really very pleasing to see and really exciting. Right? So I don't really see a problem tomorrow. But yeah, I agree with your point. The midfield doesn't have goals. Even if you include Fabinho, right? He's not a goal scorer. Milner is not. Henderson is not. Thiago Silva, lots of thumbs up. No
Thiago
goals.
Alcantara, not Silva.
Yeah, sorry, Thiago Alcantara. Sorry, Thiago Alcantara. Yeah, lots of thumbs up, no goals there. So yeah, I mean but they had this. The guy who played against us, I really liked him. Sorry,
Harvey Elliott.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He
very
looks
good.
really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, he looks really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they definitely need kind of an attacking midfielder, kind of someone who could contribute to goals, a box to box, maybe contribute to goals. But maybe Klopp doesn't really play like that. But frankly, if their front three is on form, then you don't really need anyone, because their fullbacks are so good. The balls they put into the box, right? It's just everything's on the plate for front three to score, and they are really, really amazing when they are on form.
Yeah, that I think is their weapon in their ace in the hole, that they call it, those fullbacks putting in crosses. But Sagar, I guess the same issue that Gaurav was talking about, City, Edison not playing, Alisson probably also not playing in this one. I mean, I guess they still have a second goalkeeper. Adrian, I guess, will be the backup if he has to play. I think he's a little bit better. But again, same question to you. Did any issue? I mean, not having Alisson, not having Fabinho, do you think there'll be some issues in that defense for them to worry about?
See, anyways, I'm expecting this to be a slightly high scoring game. Both the teams, they press very good. So it's not probably 4-3 like last season, but yeah, it will be a high scoring game with or without Alisson. So it will be very interesting. And definitely Adrian, although not at par with Alisson, of course, but still he's a decent backup. At least they don't have that much of problem as compared to City. And Fabinho's options will be felt, no doubt. But they have that thumbs up guy. So
It wasn't the thumbs up guy. Tell you what,
he had what, like 100 plus thumbs up last season. I just read some stat. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
that was
it's true
probably
or
fake,
not.
but I get the point. Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of thumbs up, not really much of a
well, where's Ayush when you need him to defend this? But anyway, no, but reminding, speaking of Adrian, I think Adrian, I remember Adrian in that same crazy weekend. I think he gave me the second most funniest moment I think I've seen all season. Adrian gave me. I think the funniest one is obviously Harry Maguire tackling Luke Shaw in the game and getting a goal, which I don't think we'll ever see something like that ever again. But Adrian is over. There was a shot that came in and he completely, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the shot came in. There was Ollie Watkins who was shooting and he just completely went the other direction. Like, I don't know what was going on. The shot came this way and he just went the other way. Thankfully, it didn't end up in a goal, but he was just going. And Carragher was actually laughing on screen. I don't think I've ever seen a commentator laugh on screen the way Carragher was just laughing. But anyway, that was crazy games. But I mean, it'll be an interesting game. I think let's go with Nishikant score predictions. That one.
I would say 3-1
to Liverpool.
3-1 to Liverpool.
So Liverpool, yeah. Gaurav?
2-1 to Liverpool.
2-1 to Liverpool. Sagar?
I think 4-2 to Liverpool.
To Liverpool. You know what? It's tennis season. So what the hell? 6-3. 6-3 to Liverpool. That's what I say. Tennis season. The US Open is going on. By the way, there's a British woman going to be in the final, major final for the first time in 7 years apparently. Emma
Raducanu, right?
Yeah, Raducanu,
18 years old.
Yeah.
Raducanu, sorry, yeah.
So it's a weekend of celebration for all Brits. So you know what? Leeds and Liverpool will serve as another tennis game. 6-3. That's what I go with.
I would like to see that game.
No rhyme, no reason, no logic. But anyway, well, on that note, we've got so many other teams. We've not even talked about Everton or West Ham. Maybe we'll talk about that in the review show. We'll see how they do, and then maybe we'll bring that up. So apologies to those fans, but we're out of time here. So thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much, Nishikant. Thank you so much, Sagar, for joining me on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you and to have your insights.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you did enjoy this show, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know as well in the comments. What do you think about the new late night football merch? Well, merch, but just a t-shirt. What do you think?
What I think is that we have been given one.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I was gifted one. I didn't buy one, so we're still poor. So I'll ask the gift guys if they can get another 3 or 4. for you guys. It's yeah, I don't know, these days with cash shipping and COVID and all that, it might take a while. Give it a year, maybe you might get, we might get it there in time. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section about that. And obviously, all the best to all the teams who are playing, aside from Newcastle United for obvious reasons. But all the best, and of course, all the good luck to all of you for your games, for the games that your clubs are playing as well. And hopefully the results go your way. But we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care. Have a good night or day, whatever time you're watching this, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.